Welcome, everybody, to the Advent 7 podcast. I'm your host, Andrew, and I'm joined by...
Trey.
And Spencer.
Okay, and today we are recapping episode 8, Ocho, of my teen romantic comedy SNAFU Climax. But first, plugs. Real quick, just want to say thank you to everybody for tuning into our podcast today. It means a lot to us. If you've been keeping up with the show so far but haven't heard our previous recap podcasts, please go check them out. There will be links in the description below. For all the latest news and content on anime, video games, and comics, please follow us on Twitter at Advent_7. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out more of our content at advent7.com. There's articles, there's music recommendations, there's lots of content. We've been doing this for a while. Okay, well then, with that out of the way, let's get on to the podcast. Boys, how did you feel about this episode overall? What were your thoughts?
There were certain parts that were just like, oh, hello.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Well, we start off with the meeting with Hayama. How did that go?
We start off with Hayama being a detective and just being like, this is a fake prom, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's just nailed it on the head, got it in one. He's very much not surprised that this is the way that Hikigaya is going about things. He's still annoyed that this is the way that he's choosing to do stuff, but he's not surprised at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have an interesting dynamic. You know, Hayama's always quick to call out Hikigaya and say stuff to him that nobody else will ever really say. Like, Hayama's a lot more straightforward with Hikigaya. He straight up tells Hikigaya what you're doing is wrong. The way you're going about this. Just straight up calls him out. He also confirms to us that his club already agreed to help Yukino. Like, pretty much the whole captain committee has agreed to help Yukino by this point. So they can't officially help Hikigaya. However, he asks Hayama if he's willing to help Hikigaya on an individual basis, like personally. Which I thought was funny. Like, I knew what Hayama's reaction was going to be. That he's like, why the heck would I want to help you? Like, I am the last person on earth that would want to help you on a personal level. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
But then he smiles at Hikigaya. And I'm just like,
a mutual understanding.
Like, you are going to help him anyways, aren't you? So they have a weird relationship. Like, they're not friends, but they understand each other so well that...
This is what we call frenemies.
Frenemies. There you go. Because they're not exactly rivals either. They don't compete with one another, but...
Hayama started out as just the optimist, and Hikigaya started out as the pessimist. Hikigaya is still a bit of a pessimist, but he's trying to make things work anyway.
They're both polar opposites in a lot of ways, but they've come around more to each other throughout this whole series. So that's been pretty cool.
So basically...
Also, Hayama goes into detail about his history with Yukino, right? Like, he alludes to it a little bit. Just a little bit.
It's vague details.
Because
it's
stuff
stuff we've had.
Yeah, we've always known that they've had a history via their families, that they know each other fairly well.
Yeah. I would like to someday hear directly about the story between him and Yukino. Like, at least get a specific example of the time that he didn't help her. You know, but
read the light novels.
Damn it.
It's always read the light novels.
I want to go buy all the light novels.
Just buy the last few chapters. It'll probably be fine.
Yeah, maybe that's what I should do. I mean, I probably don't need to go buy them. I'm sure they're online somewhere. But I would like to go buy it because I like having physical copies of stuff.
It's like, please support the official release.
That's always how it goes. I mean, like, to be fair, this whole third season has been able to cram more details in to the overall narrative because it's just not as rushed. You know, they have more space. They want to properly end things. Whereas season 2 was a bit more breakneck.
Yeah, they've been taking their time with this season.
Mm-hmm. What happens next?
Next up, we head to the beach in winter. Always fun.
Oh,
It's cold. It's cold. Oh God, it's cold. Hurry it up, please. Hurry up. God, it's cold.
So yeah, we get the mean girl from season 1 and the boy love girl on the beach.
Ebina.
Ebina,
the-
yeah.
Ebina,
I
those
would
two and
just like to
Yui.
say I'm still kind of amazed that that she's like so involved with that friend group. Like she just her tendencies and everything just make it feel like she would have been booted out of that friend group a
Yeah, you're
long time
right.
ago, and yet
Weird.
she's still there. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, wow.
Yeah, it's probably just because she knows how to put up a facade. Like she knows how to play along with others and get them to think of her as a certain kind of person, so she can maintain the relationships she wants, even if she knows that they're not genuine, because that was kind of a whole deal in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it is still surprising she's kept it with it this long. And I guess to be fair, for us, it's been years between season 2 and 3, but these characters are all still second years.
Yeah.
All this time, and they're still second year students, which is why, like, towards the beginning of this podcast, we were kind of confused. We were like, okay, which year are they in specifically? We had to look it up. And that kind of led in some confusion about when the prom was really going to take place. But yeah, no, Ebina is still with them. And she strips down Yumiko so they can take pictures.
Yep. It's like the pictures have to look like we're not in the middle of winter, so it's important that she's not wearing pants at the beach.
Which, surprisingly enough, everyone else is just kind of like, yeah, no, we're fine. But she does not do cold. She does
Not
not
at
do
all.
cold.
No, they need to sell this prom, so they had to have the girls wearing their summer style outfits. That's how it works.
I mean, they wear skirts all year long, so it's only colder at the beach because it's the beach at sunset.
Mm-hmm. So, oh yeah, also Ebina, like she's not in all the photo shoots. She helps Hikigaya take some of the pictures, and as they're taking pictures of Yumiko and Yui, Ebina says that Hikigaya is different from her, and I don't really think she goes into too much detail about it, but she basically says, like, she asks him, wasn't there an easier way to do all this stuff with the prom? Because she had just kind of heard about it through through others.
Through the grapevine.
Yeah, through the grapevine. And he admits, there probably was, but this is the easiest way for him to do it because he's stubborn as hell. She still acknowledges that Hikigaya is pessimistic, but what I think went unspoken was that Ebina acknowledged that Hikigaya, he wants something genuine in his life. And maybe Ebina does too, but Hikigaya is gunning for it more than she is at the moment. So that's probably why she feels like they are different. Whereas beginning of season 2, those two were actually very similar, and she comments on that. She says that's why she likes him so much. So that's another way to show that Hikigaya has grown as a person, as a character throughout the past couple seasons. I feel like Hikigaya's character is more defined now than it was in the beginning of second season. In first season, when I first started watching the show, I actually kind of felt like Hikigaya was an insert character. If you had moments in high school where you were like this, you were pessimistic and, you thought that people who hung out and had friends were like total idiots or assholes, this was your insert character, but he does not feel like that anymore at all.
Yeah, no, he feels pretty fleshed out at this point.
Mm-hmm.
He's an actual person, sort of.
just 70%. We'll say 70% person because he still doesn't understand emotions very well. Case in point,
he's still creepy.
Yeah, he's still creepy.
They keep calling him creepy, and I'm like, man, this Hikigaya's like defense mechanisms must be through the roof, because normally anybody getting called creepy that much would start to be a little hurt by it, but he's just dulled by this point.
He's been hurt by it. He's just dull to the point, but he also well, he's got Yui and Yukino now that he's trying to work with, so that kind of helps
It's
cut
just
that
so
pain a
unfair.
They
little
call
bit.
him they used to call him creepy a lot. I think it's
They sure
curved
did.
now.
It's curved. It's gone away now, but
It's still not fair.
that's helped to cut that pain. But now he's got new pain.
Oh God, I don't know if this new pain is any better. It's a lot
But
worse.
yeah, honestly, if Ebino wasn't a psycho, I would think they would make a good couple.
They probably could. You know, I could see that. But the core reason why they aren't a couple is probably because of the whole codependency thing, which we're still not calling it that necessarily because Hikigaya doesn't want to acknowledge.
Oh no,
that.
Ebino's just got the wrong personality.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it just wouldn't work. She's way too hyperactive about really strange things, and that puts him off. So
Yeah, I don't think that a relationship like that would last too terribly long.
Nope.
Not unless they find some more like
Common ground.
yeah.
at the moment it's pessimism. That's all I've really got going for them, and that's not really what you want to use as a foundation for your relationship. But anyways, yeah, so they take the pictures and they move on back to the gamer club where the whole crew is working on this pseudo prom. Or no, they're working on this fake out prom. And they finish the site. They get the pictures uploaded, they finish the site, the gamer dudes are done. Now it's
they're
just a matter
drinking Monster Energy.
Yes, they've got a bunch of monsters. They've been going at this for a while.
Oh shoot. I don't remember that. But
yeah, no, they were basically pulling all-nighters. It's just like, okay, we
awful.
got this now.
It's absolutely
Okay,
awful.
it's fine.
I hope that Hikigaya bought them those monster cans because these guys have just been hammering away and doing this for free, and that sucks.
That's the point of free labor.
I would also like to add, though, and this is just something that I caught just because software and everything, they actually are using a test server. They're not just coding on production.
Nice.
They're just like, okay, move it to the real thing. It's like, that wasn't the real thing. They're using a proper test server before pushing to production.
Yes.
Bravo.
Good practice.
You guys are all dead because you're doing a ton of web deving.
Yeah,
but
that's a black hole.
I applaud you for not making that mistake.
They didn't use Wix. That's the problem. They didn't watch all the YouTube ads and say, oh yeah, let's build a Wix website. Instead, they built a website from scratch. HTML hell.
Really is.
But yeah, so they get that done, and it's almost the end of the day, but Hikigaya decides to make a phone call first. Who does he call to talk to about the new website and new campaign for this fake out prom?
Our friend, our lovely, lovely friend who answers with "Yeah, hello," Haruno.
The one and only Leaker Supreme. She will spread your news all around.
She's definitely very good about sneaking ideas into other people's heads, about keeping people tethered to her and transferring communication along those lines. You know, and not in a way that we want, but it's still a big skill of hers, is networking and communication, even if she manipulates. Yeah, I'll just let you guys take it away from there. What happened there?
All right.
Yeah, I'll let you do it, Trey. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, we're talking to Haruno about basically we need someone to get this information covertly to the PTO. So we decided to go. We call Haruno. We show her what the plan is. She calls them out almost immediately. This is the theme of today's episode. Everyone knows that Hikigaya's plan is a fake prom to make the real prom seem not bad.
Yeah, it's not very under wraps. It's not as covert as he probably thought it was going to be.
Yeah, they had their conversation, and it just something we didn't mention back from the Hayama conversation. was Hikigaya declaring that this is man's pride.
Which is kind of true.
It's like he's doing this for a man's pride, and then he explains that he's trying to outwit Haruno because she's still pulling the whole, you're still just doing codependency, right? It's like, no, I'm doing this for my own self-satisfaction, you sick witch. But yeah.
No, I think this is the wrong anime now. We're not talking about witches or cults. That's a different sequel season that came out this year.
That's a different kind of suffering.
Yeah. Anyways, so they're talking. Haruno makes some very bold claims about how they should just have been watching over her and over Yukino instead of trying to help her because of the codependency thing. But honestly, it's bullshit. It's all bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So
Haruno is just trying to get them to give Yukino distance so that Yukino can fail on her own and end up just like Haruno.
Yeah.
Yui actually argues to Haruno in the moment, like, this isn't codependency. Or she doesn't call it codependency, but she says, you're wrong about that. We are trying to help Yukino because she's our friend. That's what we feel is the right thing to do. At that point, Haruno is not really talking about facts or word definitions anymore. This comes down to a matter of opinion. And the two parties just have different opinions over what the emotions and motivations behind these actions are called, and whether or not they're positive or negative motivations that will yield positive or negative results. Like, I feel like there really isn't a right or wrong answer here. It's kind of just left up to your interpretation of, is this codependency or is this pride, as we'll call it, air quotes, or is this friendship? Let you be the deciding factor, but they can't let that happen because Haruno and Yukino's mom are just way too invasive. There's too much at stake here to just leave it be as a difference of opinions. They won't have it, which should be a them problem and not a Yukino problem, but, well, it is what it is.
Yeah. Haruno's whole thing, like, and Yukino's mom, like, her calling it codependency, and I'm still kind of like, I don't know if I want to call this codependency, man, because this just continually feels like friends wanting to help out each other when they're in a tough spot. But Haruno specifically pulling up the word codependency is practically just her.
She's like trying to plant ideas into other people's heads.
It's coming. I would imagine that it's coming from her upbringing and this just hyper sense of self, like do-it-yourself sort of mentality in their family. Like, admittedly, yeah, like being able to do things all on your own and everything is like technically impressive, but practically it's not like super necessary. No, it's great if you can like pull stuff along and make sure that things stay on the right path, just kind of what they need to do in like big like roles of leadership and power. But ultimately not really doing everything yourself. You still have a bunch of people helping you. It's just they're not emotionally alongside you a lot of times. They're the workers that are underneath you, sort of thing.
They're just working together to reach an end goal. There's not a lot of emotion invested into it.
And Haruno just pulling the codependency card is really just trying to get under their skin.
Yeah, so let's
kind of what I feel. Like,
let's look at codependency real quick. So
like you can make an idea. So like codependency is supposed to be a whole thing of basically feeding each other's bad habits. And the most that I can see here is that Hikigaya is the one with the bad habits, and Yui and Yukino are the enablers in this situation. Yui turning a blind eye and helping Hikigaya because she wants to be close to him. Yukino also kind of turning a blind eye to how he does things because ultimately it ends up working out for her in the end. But
it's like there's a little bit
they're
of
also
codependency probably mixed in there, but that's like a smaller intention or motivation in the shadow of greater motivations and emotions, you know? Like codependency is just one part of it. It's not the whole. It doesn't define the whole situation.
Yeah.
So
And that's kind of been my thought process on this whole situation while watching this season. Because I haven't really been able to. I've been trying to see what Haruno's saying, if she's like being like, because she's been like super serious about it. It's like, oh yeah, this is totally what's happening here. And I'm just sitting here thinking, it's like, is this just being overthought? Am I missing something here? But yeah.
It's probably a little bit overthinking. Let's be fair. Everybody in this show overthinks things a lot.
Oh, so much.
What were you trying to say, Trey?
So yeah, Haruno is probably definitely messing with them, but I will point out that codependency from dictionary.com, the definition is excessive emotional or psychological reliance on a partner. So Haruno isn't wrong in the idea that Yukino definitely has a higher level of reliance on Hikigaya when it comes to solving some of these problems. So she's not wrong. She's just doing what she's claiming is more along the lines of, I want to say she's claiming this to purely cause issue.
Yeah. She's fixating on this one thing, and she's trying to sabotage them, by having them come around to her way of thinking. I think she's projecting onto them. Like that is my opinion, is that quite a bit of what's going on here is just her projecting because this is how her life has gone. But, again, it's a matter of opinion what you really call it. Codependence is just one part of this situation. Yeah,
so we kind of leave this cafe after their conversation, and Yui finally asked Hikigaya what Haruno was talking about codependence, because officially speaking, she hasn't heard this conversation yet.
Yeah, I forgot that she hasn't
actually heard the word codependent.
I can't remember if that scene is later on or not, but do we want to talk about it now or wait for it?
Oh, wait, which scene?
Yui going back to talk to Haruno. I can't remember if there was something in between there.
We may as well cover it now.
The thing in between is Hikigaya and Hirotsuka meeting with Yukino's mom.
So yeah. If we want to talk about that real quick,
we may as well. It connects, and the show kind of explained that scene to us in a weird order. It did a flashback, but we had just gotten back from commercial break, so it felt like it should have been back to back. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Yui goes back to confront Haruno again. It's like 2 Haruno confrontations in a row. I don't know if we can handle this. The stress levels are too high. But yeah, Yui kind of makes her stand, trying to say how wrong Haruno is. But Haruno makes, once again, some very insightful points about why their codependency exists. But she's also using the definition wrong, because she claims that Yui wants to always be supporting Hikigaya, and that's what's leading to this codependency issue. And it's like, that's technically not how that works. But she's claiming how it's kind of cyclical, how her wanting to help Hikigaya leads to Hikigaya making decisions that will force him to rely on other people at some point, and it's just going to keep feeding into itself.
Yeah, those 3 are kind of working in a circle here. And they've realized this by now. That's what they're working to try and get out of. Which is, that might be the concept that the characters keep referring to as an quote-unquote end to their situation. They're trying to end something. And I mean, we as the viewers, we know that this is the final season, so ooh, the end, it's coming. We're gonna put an end to this, But
just so you guys remember, this is the end. All of it's the end.
yeah, gonna put an end. This is the end of everything that ever was and ever shall be. It's like, just say it. Just stop being vague. Oh God. I don't know anybody who talks like this. You'd think I'd be used to it now. I almost feel like the vagueness has only increased in their dialect this season. Am I crazy? Was this the case in second season to this intensity?
Just about. I mean, from me coming from an outside perspective.
I must have just worn off from that because, I saw the season 5 years ago and my impression back then is just carried with me all this time. I guess I never really looked that much into it back then, but now it's just staring me in the face.
So yeah. So going on from from the Haruno conversations, we go into the Big Daddy. Well, no, not the Big Daddy, the Big Mommy, because the Big Daddy's later. We get our conversation between Hikigaya, Hiratsuka, and Yukino's mom.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like she calls. It's just Hiratsuka comes in looking for Hikigaya, asking. It's like, I need you to come with me. Hikigaya's like, am I the only one who has to go with you? And it's like, the person's asking for the man in charge. I guess that's me.
Yeah. That's his kid.
And so, yeah, it's time for the confrontation because we had set this up. Like, it's like Haruno did her job and leaked, with quotes, leaked the information to Yukino's mom that there's a second plan for a prom that would be very against the PTO's plans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she planted that in Yukino's mom's kind of field of vision. So, let's see. What does her mom say? Her mom
also calls them out on it.
Yeah, her mom quickly sees through everything. And like one of the first lines that she opens this discussion with is, so it was really intelligent. It was really clever to have a dummy prom.
Yeah, setting up a dummy event wasn't a bad move.
Yeah, and the guy's like, oh shit, she knows.
Yeah, no, she just comes out swinging right off the bat. She doesn't hold back at all.
Mm-hmm.
And it's at that moment that Hikigaya kind of realizes, like, okay, we're in the fight now. All right, here we go.
Yeah, he remembers, I can't fight her with logic. As Haruno said before, this lady's scary. You can't negotiate with her in the normal way. So he starts suggesting to Yukino's mom, hey, if you don't like, if the PTO doesn't like this idea, because Yukino's mom is there for the sake of the PTO, not necessarily for herself. She has not said that it's strictly her that disapproves of it yet. So he says, well, why don't you help us? Why don't you try talking to the PTO and convince them for us, since you have some pull in that organization. They won't listen.
It's not only just that. The part of the reason why he even comes up with the idea to ask her to be on their side is because earlier Haruno even said, he's like, well, you're not talking with people that play fairly. However, if you present it to my mom in a particular way, you might be able to get something done because she doesn't actually care one way or the other.
Right.
It's like,
she doesn't
what the
care
fuck
about
are you doing here?
Yeah, she's not the one that actually brought up any problems with the prom, as we found out from Haruno. She's just the messenger and the one who has the most, negotiating power.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that kind of threw me for a loop because up until this episode, I was under the impression that she was directly against this prom because she had some kind of personal investment in Yukino organizing it. She didn't like the idea of that for some reason, which could still be somewhat true. But it turns out a big part of it was she was just being asked to go there on the sake of the PTO. She didn't actually care about the prom itself. So Hikigaya was able to use this to his advantage, Haruno says to him that they don't play fairly. So what does he do?
He has one trump card left to get her on their side. He officially plays the card that is him. She never knew his name until now. And now that she knows who he is, she's like, "Oh, you're the boy we hit with the card like a decade ago."
Yeah, in season 1. Almost forgot about that.
I mean, it was before season 1. It was like
that's true.
It was in season 0. Mm-hmm. It was the domino that set up the relationship between Hikigaya and Yukino. And I guess Yui was involved in that too. I can't remember actually.
He was.
Yui's dog ran out.
Yui's dog was the catalyst.
Yeah.
And that's how their quantum entanglement began.
Well, that sucks. I'm not getting a dog. I don't want this to happen to me.
But dogs are so adorable.
Yeah.
But you could end up losing the love of your life, and then another girl that you'll have to choose between.
No, I'm okay. Not worth it. Totally not worth it. I don't want to argue with this old lady about whether or not a prom should happen. I would be like Iraha and just tell everybody straight up, say what you're feeling. Give me a proper answer. Shut the fuck up. I don't have that kind of patience, man. No, but yeah, I didn't expect him to play that card. That was Hikigaya also playing unfairly. He used that card to try and guilt Yukio's mom into working with them a bit more. And he plays it off totally smooth as well. He says like, "Oh yeah, I'm all healed up now, better than ever. My 2 legs are almost good enough to, dance at a prom."
Yeah,
that was very underhanded, and he even admits that only someone like him could do something so despicable. But he did it, and Yukino's mom doesn't even directly acknowledge it, but she does say to him, "Well done." Well
it's like,
played.
"I hope we meet again," and he thinks, "Nope, never again, never a fucking
never,
again."
Never want to talk to her again. Yeah, but she agrees to try and talk to the PTO on their behalf and see what she can do.
No, she agrees to have them come in. Well, she asks them to come along with them.
She asks Hiratsuka to join her.
Yeah, she says that she'll see what she can do. They'll talk to the rest of the PTO.
And it's also kind of Hiratsuka's point of just being like, okay, look, we've got these students. They put up all this other effort to make this other prom. Clearly, we've got some rebels in the school. There's the chance that they could just go off and do this on their own without our supervision, which would be an even bigger problem. So
yeah, do you really
let's just do it?
Also, a non-important scene before this all happened. Hiratsuka asked Hikigaya out for ramen.
Oh yeah,
oh, it was great. Yeah, ramen date. Do it. Plot twist: he doesn't get with Yui or Yukino in the end. He gets with the teacher. Ramen time, baby.
I mean, once again, domestic girlfriend, the strats are coming.
Oh God. Okay. No. We're back. We're moonwalking out of this situation. No. Next topic.
Oh, Haruno. We find her back in the coffee shop, and she's talking with Hayato, because Hayato, after being told the word codependent by Hikigaya, like right at the beginning of the episode, it's like, this does not sound like a word that he would use. Who would use a word like that? Eeny, meeny, miny, Haruno.
Ding, ding, ding.
It's like, congratulations, detective, you got it.
It's like, excellent work.
Hayama put together the dots very quickly, like off of just a hunch. He just knew that codependency, that word that Hikigaya didn't even really touch upon. He's like, there's only one person who would plant this idea in his head. Only one person that would bring up this kind of bullshit. So he goes and talks to Haruno, and he does it alone. He went into full-on enemy territory alone when he didn't even need to fight this fight. But he does it.
I mean, it's not enemy territory for him. He's neutral. slash
He's neutral, but she's still kind of his enemy. Like, he definitely doesn't want to associate. Let's put it that way.
I mean, I feel like he kind of does. I don't know what their history is, but obviously he spent a lot of time with both Yukino and Haruno growing up.
He did. It doesn't seem to be by
Imagine that,
choice anymore.
considering the age difference, I would imagine it's something of a case of, since their families knew each other, Haruno probably like babysat at that point.
No wonder he's also so fucked up. And anybody that Haruno comes in contact with just gets plagued by her, her ideals.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing that's been bugging me, is the way she keeps using the phrase, "Is this the genuine thing?"
It's like she's the one searching for something genuine more than anybody else. That's really her shtick.
Yeah, she mentioned to Hayato that's the way it was, kind of hinting again at something happening in their past. And I'm just like, what happened to you?
Just say it.
Read the light novels.
No, I deserve to hear this in anime form.
Screw you!
No, so like, what did they specifically talk about though? Like at one point, Hayama asked.
They talked about this is where Yui's talk with Haruno comes in. She's basically recounting to Hayato what she was talking about with her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, other than
that's
that,
really about what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and Hayama does ask her, like, do you genuinely hate me, or you must really hate me? And Haruno's like, no, I actually really like you.
It's like, I adore you.
I'm like, oh, I don't know if that's what we should call it. We can have a whole different conversation about, the motivations behind your adoration. But, talking about that doesn't benefit her because it's about her and not somebody else. It's all that projecting, man. That's really what she's doing. I'm telling you.
So much damn projecting.
She is living her life vicariously through Yukino, but she wants to ruin it just as badly.
Yeah. Again, I think, Spencer, you said this in a previous podcast. What the hell does Haruno do for a living? Where is she finding all this free time to mess with high school students? What kind of sick fuck does this?
Wait, isn't she still in college? Like 22?
Something like 22? That, maybe. But I mean, even as a college student, it's like, man, I feel like you should be like trying to find
the way
an
that
internship
she
or
acted.
something.
I guess I don't know. The way that she acted, she seemed like she was older than in college age, but she might be younger than what I'm thinking of.
Because Hiratsuka was her teacher.
Yeah.
And it was relatively recently, and Hiratsuka's only 30.
Okay, so it says here on orogairu.fandom.com that Haruno is age 19 to 20.
So yeah.
Seriously?
She's only a couple years older than them.
She is a college student.
Well, shit, now this makes me confused about what their relationship when they were younger is even more.
Yeah.
Like, she probably still did babysit them to some degree, but, like, yeah, there's actually not that big of an age difference between them, which by the way, brings up a lot of concerns about how she's like, oh, yeah, don't you want to be with an older Nason? It's like, you're not that much older.
She's still the older Onesan.
She holds herself on such a high plateau above the rest of them that you get the impression that she's like in her mid-20s. But she's only like 20 at the most. That's mind-blowing.
So,
no wonder she's still so fucked up. She hasn't had a lot of time.
Fuck this shit. I can't believe that Haruno is
younger than us.
A bunch younger than me. Like, what the hell is this? No, I don't believe
You're older than Haruno.
I mean,
what is this?
So, to be fair, like, so we're all pretty much mid-20s age dudes. Like,
yeah.
Like, when second season came out, we were the same age as her. And when first season came out, I was younger than her. So, this is what happens when you follow an anime for the better part of a decade.
What is time?
Time is a construct. Don't believe in it. So,
But
okay.
yeah, so
Guess that solves
so
that
we
mystery.
leave Haruno and we move on to the granddaddy of all scenes for the series. It's time. We go back to the club room, and it's time to announce who has won the competition. And also, props to whoever was in charge of drawing the lighting. It
was so good.
sings.
The
It
lighting
just
was really
sings.
good. It was so dynamic. There was lots of colors in there. It wasn't just the depressive silhouettes in a afternoon setting. Wasn't just that. There was a lot of different colors and sunlight coming through those windows. It was interesting. I was trying to figure out what is the tone supposed to be here, because it was just so different.
Wistfully romantic.
Maybe.
And like you can think of it as like that's kind of like what it might set up to be like if they just kind of like stood at the window and everything. But no, this is when you actually get them talking. It's a much sadder scene.
Well, yeah, that's because they're them, but
They're always gonna
They're
be
them.
sad.
it's like, and once again, Hikigaya doesn't sit on the inside of the goddamn table. That's
not
the
gonna
only
get
thing
it,
I
Trey.
want.
You're not
That's
gonna
You're
get
never
it.
gonna
the
get
only
it,
thing I wanted, and it's so simple.
and you will never have
We'll
it.
never have it. We don't deserve simple things. Everything has to be vague and complicated and roundabout. We get nothing.
So yeah, they kind of go back and forth for a minute trying to decide who won. It's like Hikigaya says, well, you won because your prom won. But no, you won, Hikigaya, because I had to rely on your plan to get my prom to work. And it just goes back and forth for for at least 15 minutes. No, 5 minutes?
Yeah,
What the-
it doesn't.
Yeah, she's
go-
just
it doesn't go
insistent
that
on the fact that the prom wasn't really going to happen if something else didn't come up to force the PTO's hand to actually make a decision.
the way that
Because when it comes right down to it, like as we said, they don't fight fair. They didn't want this to happen. Like the very idea of a prom was the thing that was being opposed, not something in the prom. It was the very idea of having a prom.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, Yukino probably wouldn't have been able to overcome that on her own when nobody was willing to even hear it. But
Yeah.
because Hikigaya went off, did his sneakery. That's
It's debauchery. Wait, no.
no, that's an even worse word.
No.
Him just going and doing underhanded tactics to try and make them choose something that was more in their favor.
Yep.
Just,
Essentially, blackmailing
without
Yukino's
that,
mom
it
with
wouldn't
the
have
car
happened.
thing.
And just because of who was interested in making this prom get off the ground, Yui probably wouldn't have been able to do anything on her own.
No, because that's not the way
Iroha
that
was
she-
already helping Yukino.
Yeah,
Hikigaya was really the only one left that could actually do something because he was aware of the situation that was happening and actually had a vested interest in seeing it happen.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. The way
yeah.
the way that Yukino was approaching things, it wouldn't have happened because, yeah, like you said, you know, she was not doing tactics that would play into what the PTO. Well, I don't know. I had it phrased in my head. Now I can't say it properly. Well, basically, the way that Yukino was going about it, the way that she was planning at the prom, it would have led to the prom never happening because she wasn't approaching it from the same angle and the same mindset that the PTO was. In order to beat the PTO at their own game, you have to kind of know how to play it. And she was not playing that game at all because, like in the past with other situations they've had to solve, Yukino doesn't like doing underhanded tactics in order to get to her goal. She wants to play things her way. But that just wasn't going to happen when she was fighting against so much, doing such an uphill battle. So, yeah, I totally agree.
So yeah, they after they finally decide that technically Yukino wins the competition, they come to the conversation of, wait, no, this wasn't just to decide the whole thing. This was just supposed to be who wins this one. but it ends up being that this is the decider of the entire service club's competition, which, by the way, no one was keeping track of anyway, so who cares?
I don't think they even had a good metric to keep score.
No. Yeah, Hikigaya desperately wanted this to just be him helping her in a different way, but no. Yukino wanted this, like, okay, and this is where it will end. I want you to do something for me. I want you to grant Yui's wish. And he's just like, are you sure about that?
It's like, no, don't do this.
Stab.
Don't do this. You know it's not going to work that way anyways. We all know it's not going to work that way. But
yeah, no, this is going to just go in loops. It's like she's going to have to try and grant Yui's wish. Yui's wish is going to be, you have to grant Yukino's wish. And it's just going to go back and forth for all eternity.
We got a recursive loop.
To grant Yui's wish, to grant Yukino's wish, to grant Yui's wish, to grant Yukino's wish.
But yeah, as they're talking, we get some flashbacks. As Yukino tries to explain that this entire series has been about her own personal growth.
Yeah, it definitely has been.
And she basically just straight up says, like, we had a seemingly fake relationship, and this isn't how you wanted it to turn out, but that's the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's okay now. It's okay. And I'm just like,
everything's going to be okay.
No, it's not.
Everything's fine. Everything's perfectly fine as tears stream down my face.
Right? Yeah, it's totally not fine.
It's like,
I think we all kind of understood. I think Hikigaya even subtly, maybe subconsciously understood when he first declared war on Yukino's prom with his own prom a couple episodes ago that this kind of was the deciding factor. This was going to solve a lot of things. And even he has been talking about this end that he wants to bring everything to. But part of me thinks that because he knew what was going on in the moment, he knew where Yukino was leading the conversation when she suggested, well, this settles it. This has determined the winner. You have won. You know, he wanted to fight that. He's like, no, this is just for this situation. You know, we had a difference of understanding, apparently, on the real terms of this battle. This doesn't end the competition, but I'm pretty sure even he knew that's where things were going to go. But
that's what I assumed.
I think we all assumed that, you know, this was meant to be the last part of the competition, the last bout. But because he knew that this was going to be leading towards Yukino letting go of him and letting go of their relationship, he wanted to drag it out even further. He did not want to face the consequence of his actions, even though he kind of knew this was where it was going to go. So that's why he was fighting it. But she's like, you know, this is it. And if I really won, then you're going to do the one thing I ask you to do. So, yeah, you could see on his face that he didn't want to admit it. So,
and Yukino finishes off. She closes the club room and she says, "I pray this is the correct ending." It's like, God damn it. All to hell.
The way that the episode flowed into the credits visually, for a split second, I thought that this was like a bad end to the show or something that they decided to do. Yeah. And I was like, no.
Just end it right there.
No,
That's it. We don't get nothing else.
You are not going to end this now. We have 4 more episodes. Don't do this to me. And I was like, don't give me 2 different endings in one season. That's stupid. But thankfully, we had a post-credit scene which kind of, you know, fleshed things out a bit. So I'm like, okay, we're not done yet. We're getting close, but we're not done yet. The prom is solved. The prom is happening. Now we're about to see the fallout of a relationship between these 3 main characters. So what is that final scene?
It's Yukino finally throwing a text Yui's way saying, "Yo, can we meet?" And she's just on it. She's just like, "I'm on my way. I'm leaving now. My shoes are already on. I'm running."
She's like the Flash. She got there in no time at all.
And yeah,
and they just kind of chat on a bench. And
yeah, in that moment, you know, Yukino admits to Yui that, you know, the prom is happening. I relied on Hikigaya. I relied on you. It's because of you guys that this prom is happening. You know, so this is it. You know, this is the ending. And Yui realizes that what Yukino has been talking about is the end of their relationship. She can see it in Yukino's smile, that desperate smile that she makes.
I'm really getting sick of them saying season end. Like, are y'all trying to be self-referential? What's going on here?
I'm like, I get being self-referential.
It's very much self-referential.
It's cool. It's cool when you do it in, you know, like sparse chunks. You know, do it with a little bit of refrain. Don't just keep dropping this word every other few minutes. So I'm like, what are you talking about? Are you really talking about the show? Are you talking about your relationship? Just be straight with me, man. That's all I want by this point.
They're talking about the season of winter. It's going to be spring soon.
It's spring.
Okay. We'll go with that. Okay. Well then, what are your guys' closing thoughts on the episode, just all around? Like, what was your opinion? What did you think, you know, reflectively? I think that for me, the thought in my head that sums up my opinions over this whole episode is projection. You know, the whole thought that Haruno is projecting her problems onto the other characters, and you know, they have all these thoughts going in their heads about how their relationship with one another is so flawed and it's fake, you know, it's codependency, but it's not really that. There's more to it. This whole codependency thing is there, it's true, but it's only one part of how they all really feel about one another. And the emotions they feel about one another are actually very natural. These are emotions that exist in almost any relationship between 2 or 3 different people. So they're not necessarily doing anything wrong, but they feel like they are because they've been poisoned by this absolute witch who's only like 2 years older than them, but has to act like she's so much higher than that. I just can't get over how ridiculous that is.
Yeah.
I just feel tired. The show is draining. It's very draining.
That's all the podcasts we're doing.
And this is why we do it in short bursts. We do it once a week. So that way we don't have to just experience sadness all in one big binge.
This is not a show that you can just binge. You know, I mean, like Trey and I definitely binged it, but that was easier because season 1 has more comedy to balance it out. But like, if you wanted to binge all 3 seasons together, back to back, yeah, you'd probably be pretty depressed after that.
It'd be draining, and I think you just get more out of a show like this when you watch it in smaller sprints.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Like this is a show that definitely is just kind of like you watch 2 episodes and then you leave it for a few days to a week, then you watch another 2 to 3 episodes and then kind of leave it. Like you don't blast through it all the way. It's not popcorn food.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, but there are people out there who will still try and blast through this like it's popcorn.
I know a guy that just binged through all of Made in Abyss in a single day, and I'm just like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
That's just not right.
No breaks.
That
only
should qualify as self-harm. That should legally qualify as trying to hurt yourself physically and emotionally. That's terrible.
It is a question of whether it was his first watch through or not, but either way, that's still like, why would you do that? There's no good reason to do something like that.
Okay, yeah, Trey, what's your thoughts? Anything to kind of walk away with here?
The preview for the next episode makes me feel even sadder.
The preview was interesting. Yeah, well, we got a lot of shots.
We're getting Hikigaya going over to Yui's house and meeting Mamagahama.
Oh my god.
And getting snacks. They're baking, and he's probably going to die from terrible cooking.
I don't know. Those snacks look pretty good, man.
He does like sweets, and she has been getting better at it. She even gave him legit cookies by the end of season 2. That
He still never fucking ate them.
Yeah, he stuffed them in a drawer.
He probably ate them in the light novel.
Dude, eat the cookies.
Yeah, he
gonna
probably
go
ate them in the
stale.
light novel. Trey, just go read the light novel.
I don't wanna.
But I mean, like, looking at the shots of them being together in the preview, it looks like it'll be a somewhat fun episode at least.
I hope that we get at least like some good feeling stuff.
Some good vibes to break up everything that happened in this episode.
Hopefully we get the damn prom.
I'm telling you, boys, I don't think we're gonna get the prom. Not unless there's a time skip and like the last episode.
They got 4 episodes. They can start time skipping now.
Yeah, maybe they could. The way things look right now, though, it definitely doesn't seem like it's something that we're gonna see. This show would lowball us like that. But you know,
it's gonna be an OVA. It's gonna be stupid.
I mean, they could. I'd watch the OVA. They had an OVA for second season, and I don't even know if that was like canon or not. But it was Hikigaya going on a date with Iroha first, and then like pretty much the same date with Yui, or maybe it was the other way around.
I remember the Iroha part. I'm pretty sure most of it was Iroha, wasn't it?
Okay, maybe it was just with Iroha. I could have sworn Yui had like a part in that OVA somehow.
I can't remember.
Anyways, yeah, you know, whenever Yui and Hikigaya hang out and they're on a quote-unquote date, or at least a one-on-one session, it's usually pretty fun. You know, it's not that heavy-handed, which I guess is partially why I always felt like they made a better couple, but this season has definitely shown to me how Yukino and Hikigaya are on a different wavelength from Yui. And it shows as well in the times that he hangs out with Yui. Yui doesn't really keep up with some of his wordplay, and he definitely seems to get annoyed at her a lot.
That's because she's got way too much energy, and he just wants to drink his max coffee and go on with his day.
Yeah.
She is very bubbly.
Mm-hmm.
It's like she's the Genki Dairy.
Yeah,
and we love her for it.
Which I guess just turns him off. He's just not into that. He prefers someone more chilled out like himself, which is Yukino, I suppose. But we will see. We will see where things lead with the last 4 episodes and what happens. I am happy. I'm happy knowing that the planning phase for the prom is over. We've emerged out of that stress. It's definitely going to happen. It's going to happen the way the Yukino planned. Iroha's going to have it. So that arc is kind of finished. And didn't that, like, when did we start that plot point? Was that like episode 3?
Basically.
Yeah, so we've
well, actually 2.
Episode 2?
I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure Iroha brought in the projector in episode 2 to set up, hey, we're going to do a prom.
That's half the season right there.
It's more than... Well, yeah, like number-wise, but if it keeps going...
Yeah, it's true. I don't think it really will, though. I think that the main focus is going to go towards their relationships.
The end of the shipping wars, folks. Get in your boats. Get the cannons ready.
I think the ship that I'm on's already got plenty of holes, so I got nothing left to wager for a vote.
You're getting a consolation next week with with snack time at Yui's house.
We have some lovely gift baskets for you. Thanks for coming.
So like the big streamliner like luxury boat is sinking, but they brought around like a small ferry with Yui's name and like face plastered on the side of the ferry, and they're luring the survivors over there for for shelter. I have a decision now. Do I jump over there and acknowledge, well, it's not the big ship that everyone's going to enjoy, but it's something. Or do I just concede now?
We don't know what Yui's wish is, so we're going to find out.
We've got 4 episodes left. There is still a decent chunk of the show left.
That is an interesting plot point, though. I do want to hear directly from you guys. What do you think Yui's wish is?
That they always be together.
Yeah, she wants them all to be together and to all be happy.
Damn it. You guys are probably
right.
But
she has romantic feelings for Hikigaya, and...
Once again, The polygamy
Twisting
play
tie
is still
knot.
on the table.
Oh no! Oh no! It's becoming
Trey,
more
I'm
and
about
more.
to fire a cannon at you.
It's becoming more valid over time. The polygamy play is actually slowly becoming a very worrying, real possibility.
Y'all are crazy.
It's
But yeah,
true, though.
we'll just have to see where this goes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
We're getting into the final third of the season. We're I guess in the end game now.
we're in the end game now.
I mean, we've
What
been in
did it
the end game
cost?
since the beginning, but
My heart,
here we are.
my ship.
Basically everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we'll find out next episode what her wish is. But I think you guys are right. Just judging off of that preview and her voiceover during the preview, Yui is probably going to come up with some kind of wish where the three of them all stay together.
Forever and ever.
Which is just going to lead us in another cyclical path. You know, Trey called it. So we will see what happens. Okay, was there anything else we missed? Anything that we didn't talk about?
No, I think that pretty well covers it.
Cool. Okay.
But if you think we're wrong, tell us in the comments. Yell at us. Tell Andrew to go to Denny's.
Disagree with our opinions very strongly. If you think that we just butchered this episode, we missed the greater scale, by all means, enlighten us. Yeah, please let me know if you guys in the comments think that Haruno is just wasting all of her time and that she should be, instead of focusing on college, focusing on getting a real job, be an adult. She's still only 2 years older than the main cast. I just can't wrap my head around that. Okay. Well then, thank you everybody for taking time to tune into our podcast today and listen to what we had to say. I'm Andrew.
I'm Trey.
And I'm Spencer.
We're all very tired.
Very tired.
Please check out our previous podcasts. We do this every week where we recap each episode of SNAFU as they come out. Please subscribe to us on Twitter at Avent_7. Subscribe to us on YouTube. And check out our website, avent7.com, for more content. Thanks for listening, everybody. We will see you all next time. Yaga bye.
Yeah, goodbye.
Goodbye.